Hi there. Hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson I will go through 2023 HSC paper with you. Of course, there's a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. Question 11, part A. So we need to find the Cartesian equations of this line in the form of y is mx plus c. So we need to convert from parametric equations into Cartesian equations. So step number 1, we need to convert this equation here, make t as a subject. So let me just write this down. So we have x is equal to 1 plus 3t. So if I move the 1 on the other side, so this becomes this way. So that becomes x minus 1 is 3t. Then I divide by 3 on both sides. So divide this by 3, divide this by 3. That cancel out. So t is x minus 1 over 3. And we know that y is 4t. So this means that y is 4t. That will give me 4 lots of x minus 1 over 3. So there you go. So I can write as this. So y equal to 4 x minus 1 over 3. And I can just remove the brackets. So I just write on this side. So that means y equal to 4x minus 4 over 3. I just remove the brackets. Then we need to write in this form. So then I just write y equal. So 4x over 3 is same as 4 over 3x minus 4 over 3. So there you go. Part B. In how many different ways can all the letters of the word condobolin be arranged in a line? So let me just count how many letters first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 factorial. And then we have 1, 2, 3 all repeated. So we just need to divide by 3. And then we have 1n, 2n repeated. So just divide by 2 factorial. And that's it. So let me just put on a calculator. So just go 10 factorial over 3 factorial times 2 factorial. So there you go. 302,400 equal 302,400. So there you go. Part C. So first of all, we know that x plus 1 is a factor of p of x. So this means that p of negative 1 is 0 because it's from factor theorem. And we also know that when p of x is divided by x minus 2 and the remainder is negative 18. So this means that p of 2 is equal to negative 18. Okay, this is from remainder theorem. So now what we do when p of negative 1 is equal to 0. So let me just write it down. Okay, p of negative 1 is equal to 0. So this means that 0 is equal to negative 1 power of 3. We plus a negative 1 square plus b negative 1 and minus 12. Okay, so I just substitute x equal negative 1 into this. Okay, that's all it is. So now let me just work this out. So that is 0 is equal to, so negative 1 power of 3 is negative 1. Negative 1 square is 1, and 1 times a is a. And negative 1 times b, give me negative b. And negative 12 down. And these two together will give me negative 13. And I move the negative 13 on this side. So become 13 equal to A minus B. Or it can be written like this. A minus B is equal to 13. Let me just name this equation number 1. And then P of 2 is equal to negative 18. So this means that negative 18 is 2 power of 3, give me 8. And then we add 2 squared is 4. 4 times A is 4A. And then 2 times B is 2B. And then we minus 12. So this 8 minus 12. So 12 minus 8 is 4. So it's negative 4. And move on that side becomes plus 4. So negative 18 plus 4 give me negative 14. So that is negative 14 is equal to 4A plus 2B. And I can simplify by divide everything by 2. So negative 7 is equal to 2A plus B. And let me just rewrite this. 2A plus B equal negative 7. That is equation number 2. And we just add equation 1 with equation 2. So these two add together, B cancel out. And these two add together, give me 3A. So 3A is equal to, and we have 13 minus 7. So 10 minus 7 is 3, add 3 is 6. So the answer is 6. So let me just write this down. Equation number 1, we add with equations number 2. Now I divided by 3 on both sides. So this means that A is equal to 2. So therefore, A is 2. And then we can substitute A is equal to 2 into this equation here. Equation number 1. So let me just write this down. So we substitute A equal to into equation number 1. So that means A minus B means 2 minus B is equal to 13. So 2 minus B is 13. So let's double check. So there you go. This is the equations I substituted in. So A minus B equals 13. That means 2 minus B is 13. Then now we just move the B on this side, this on that side. So 2 minus 13 is negative 11. And B, we move on that side, becomes positive. So therefore, A is 2, B is negative 11. So there you go. Part D. So to integrate this, first of all, we know that the rule is if we integrate f dash x over I squared minus f of x all square root dx will give me sine inverse of f of x over I. And we add a c. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this means that this is exactly the same as integrate 1 over 2 squared, because 4 is 2 squared. We minus 3x all squared. Okay, so that is f of x. Okay, keep that in mind. So square root of this. And therefore, if we differentiate 3x, will give me 3. So therefore, what I do, I can just times this by 3. So that gives me 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And then, of course, we need to divide by 3 to cancel it out. This is dx. So that will give me 1/3. So now it's in this form. So therefore, that is equal to sine inverse f of x is 3x. 3x and then I is 2. So we divide it by 2. And then we add a constant c. So there you go. Part C. Now to solve these kind of trick equations, we can either convert cos theta plus sine theta into auxiliary angle, or we can use t functions. So let me just use t function to solve this, okay? So first of all, we know that t is tan of theta over 2. So keep that in mind. So now cos of theta 1 minus t squared over 1 plus t squared. Whereas sine theta, it gives us 2t over 1 plus t squared. Okay, that is from the references. So what I do now, I just substitute this in. So cos theta, that is 1 minus t squared over 1 plus t squared. We add sine theta, that is 2t over 1 plus t squared, which is equal to 1. So now I can just write in 1 fractions. So that is 1 minus t squared at 2t over 1 plus t squared is 1. So I times both sides by 1 plus t squared. So that will give me 1 minus t squared plus 2t is 1 plus t squared. So there you go. So I just move all these value on one side, on this side here, and negative t squared move on that side, become plus t squared. So these two we add together, give me 2t squared. So that is 2t squared, and the plus 2t move on, become minus 2t. And of course, this one here and this one we cancel out. So that is equal to 0. So I can take 2t out. So that becomes like this. 2t out. So that becomes t minus 1 is 0. So this means that 2t equals 0 or t is equal 1. And don't forget, t is tan of theta over 2. Okay. So that means t equals 0. So that is tan of theta over 2 is equal to 0. So keep that in mind because t is tan theta over 2. And we need to solve the angle between 0 to 2 pi for angle theta. Now we only have theta over 2. So we need to change the domain. So that becomes 0 and 2 pi divided by 2 is pi. So keep that in mind. So this means that tan of theta over 2 equals 0 will be right on the x-axis here. So that means theta over 2 is 0 or pi, because only between 0 and pi, and we stop there. Now when t equal 1, so this means that t equal 1 in here, so that means tan of theta over 2 is 1. And don't forget the angle, the domain if you like, is only between 0 and pi because theta over 2. So that will give me positive quadrant. So that will be here and here. So that means this is inverse tan of 1, of course, is pi over 4. That's a reference angle. So over 4. So that means theta over 2 is equal to pi over 4. And it stops here because from 0 to pi. And now we times 2. So theta must equal to pi over 2. And in here as well, so if I times 2 on this side, theta must be equal to 0 and 2 pi. And these are the answer. So therefore, theta is 0, pi over 2, and 2 pi. So there you go. And there's a link on using auxiliary angles to solve trick, if you like, on the description below. So you can check it out later if you wish. Part F. A recent census found that 30% of Australians were born overseas. A sample of 900 randomly selected Australians was surveyed. Let P hat be the sample proportions of survey people who was born overseas. A normal distribution is to be used to approximate probability of P hat less than 0.31. show that the variance of the random variable p hat is 7 over 30,000. So first of all, we know that p of hat is equal to x, that is the random variable, over the sample size, that is n. And we need to work out the variance for p of hat, that is the variance of sample proportions. So let me just write this down. So we need to find the variance of p hat. So that is variance of x over n. But then we know that n is a sample size and then variance is the square of standard deviation. So I can take the n 1 over n square out because variance is the square of the standard deviations. That's why we take 1 over n square out. So that is variance of x. And we know that the variance of x is n p1 minus p. Okay, keep that in mind. So we just substitute that in. So that will give me 1 over n squared with times n p1 minus p. So I can just cancel this out. That give me n. So therefore, the variance of the sample proportions is p1 minus p over n. And we know that p is success rate, that is 0.3. And the n size is 900. So that will give me 0.3, 1 minus 0.3 divided by 900. So I just go fractions 0.3 times 0.7 because 1 minus 0.3 give me 0.7. And I go down divided by 900 and shift SD. So there you go. 7 over 30,000. So that is equal to 7 over 30,000. So there you go. Part 2. So we need to find the probability of sample proportions less than 0.31. And don't forget 0.31 is the sample proportions. And this means that we already know 0.3 is the mean. Okay, 0.3 is the mean. And then 900 is n. So keep that in mind. So therefore, we need to convert 0.31 into z-score first. And we know that z is equal to x minus the mean over the standard deviations. And we already found variance. Okay, so the x is 0.31. We minus the mean. The mean is 0.3. That is given up here, 0.3, 30%. So minus 0.3 divided by the square root of the variance. So that is square root of 7 over 30,000. So that will give me, so I just go fractions 0.31 minus 0.3 and square root the answer. So there you go, 0.654 and so on. So we just write down 0.655. So equal to 0.655. So this means that we need to find the probability of z that is less than or equal to, that's right, 0.65. Since the table only give us up to 2 decimal places, so we can just write like that. That will give us, so from the table given, so we just look at this. So that is, so 0.6 here, we go all the way to 5. So that, there you go. So this is 0.65. So that is 0.742. So the answer is 0.742. And go back to the questions. Correct to 2 decimal place. So that is 0.74. So there you go. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.